everyone. Welcome to the All Things Good podcast. I am your coach and your host, Giovanna Cirillo. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast that helps you with self development, mental health, and most of all, helping you become the greatest version of yourself. Guys, thank you so much. I want to say thank you so much for my listeners. I've been doing the statistics, and without you, I wouldn't be doing this. I mean, I probably still would be doing it, to be honest, but you motivate me to continue to do what I am doing, and that is bringing stories of mental health, self development, and helping you grow as an individual and as the collective. Again, I've been doing the numbers. I need to get an editor to start putting sounds in here. I've been doing the numbers, and it looks like I have an audience throughout the world. I mean, Belgium, China, France. I have some in the United Kingdom, of course, the United States, Dominican Republic, India. I mean, they are spread out. And so I want to thank you so much for listening. And if you are still tuned in, then I want you to send me an email. Who are you? What's your name? What's going on in your life? What episode has blessed you the most? I want to know. Send an email to allthingsgoodcoaching@gmail.com. On another note, guys, today we have a lovely guest by the name of Rebecca. She's a single mom of two amazing girls, navigating life one matcha at a time. She's an entrepreneur, building her dreams while raising strong, kind daughters. She balances business, motherhood, and the unpredictable world of modern dating with humor, patience, and a whole lot of grace. I want you to help me by welcoming Rebecca. Welcome, Rebecca. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I am doing good. I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited to talk about this topic of singlehood and, being a woman of entrepreneurship. So tell our listeners, how long have you actually been single?
Well, I've been single for about 5 years by choice.
Hmm.
About 5 years.
5 years. Okay. And so were you like ever married? Like,
Yes. So I was married for 11 years and I divorced and I did date a little bit after, and then after that I've been single.
right, right. I can hear that. Wow. So 5 years, I mean, that's a pretty long time, especially with today's society where everybody's like pushing dating and pushing marriage and rushing everything. So at any point of your life, did you begin to believe any lies about yourself? Like, because you've been single for so long. To me, it's not long, but for others, it'll probably be like, oh, it's been so long. But for me, it's 5 years, it's 5 years.
Yeah, I have, there's always are you being very choosy? Oh, there's certain things that you have to kind of tolerate, or, you can't check every box. You're not going to get every single thing you're looking for. Sometimes it's a give and take. And no, it's not. I don't believe it is. I've seen good, I've seen bad. And yeah, there is a give and take, but maybe after the fact, I believe it's a give and take, not, oh, this is what I'm getting, because, you shouldn't settle, in my opinion.
I like that. I like the fact that you said you're not settling. So
Mhm.
you've seen situations, or maybe you even questioned, maybe I'm a little bit too firm on my expectations or my standards, but
Yes,
still and yet you decide that you're going to stick with the standards. You're going to
yes,
stay on business and you're going to stay with your expectations. And I love that because a lot of people these days, we feel like, we need to rush things and we just need to compromise one little thing. And I get in relationships that, there is a form of compromising, but when it comes to non-negotiables,
yes.
those are the things that you should not be compromising, because those are the things that are going to keep people from being happy, right?
Exactly. Because remember, we want long term. So if we want long term, we can't, leave behind those things that are important to each of us, men or women. So
Right, right, exactly. We should be looking for long term. And if you are looking to have your standards and your expectations met, then stick to business. Like, don't compromise. So, what have you done to maximize your singleness throughout these 5 years?
So, being single to me, it's about like it's not about a time of waiting or preparedness. It's more of a time of fulfilling and living your best life, growing. It can be empowering, it can be fulfilling, and even transformative. Um,
Right.
People shouldn't just be like, oh, well, now I'm going to wait and see who comes along. And no, it's, find hobbies, be creative, travel, find causes, and take courses, just grow emotionally and spiritually and set goals. And for believers, deepen your relationship with God.
Right, right. So investing in yourself.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming that during this years of, so wait, hold on. Did you have a business before you got single, or did you
No,
leave the relationship and then start your business? Is that something how you did it? Okay, so tell
yes.
me about that. What went through your mind?
Um, so when I left, you play the whole role of everything when you're in a marriage. And I kind of found myself with a clearer mind at that point. Not everyone is the same, but I left that. I left corporate America. I was literally clocking in, clocking out at home, in work, everything, so I found more clarity, and I actually wanted to buy my time back. And then yeah, I started my business literally maybe a year and a half after my separation.
Awesome. For some reason, okay, there's this saying that goes around that says when women like end a relationship or they get a divorce and they
Yeah.
become single, they all of a sudden have a bachelor's degree within a year. They own a business. They're doing all these things. Where do you think we gain that strength from? Like it's to me, it's beautiful how powerful a woman can be during her moment of singleness.
It's almost like a fight or flight type thing, because some people
Mm,
don't. Some people stay stuck, and you see them later down the line, and they're not doing so great. Um, I feel like I did well. Maybe not to others, but I was the flight. I didn't. I fought, and I took that time, like I said, to explore and grow. And I think everyone should do that, whether you're with someone or not.
right,
Mhm.
right. I think that's beautiful because a lot of people tend to rely on their significant other. And again, this is not to
Yeah.
judge anyone because
No.
every situation is different. You have women who found their purpose in partnership, right?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
you have women who have found their purpose outside of that. And
Right.
so I want my listeners to know I'm not judging you if you found your purpose in marriage. That's amazing.
Yes.
But also, women who are in marriages, do not judge those who are single and living their life, because it's like you said, it's fight or flight. Like it's a mean of survival for us. And honestly, to me, how I see it is like proving to ourselves that we can do this, that we have the strength and the power, and that ultimately we don't need anyone. We want someone, right?
That
There's a
is. Yeah.
difference,
Yes.
right?
Yes. That's
So
exactly it.
so I want our listeners to hear that. Like there's a difference when it comes to relationships and singleness. Maximize your singleness. What can you do for yourself? Let's say you have lost whether you ended in divorce, whether there was whatever the case might be, you were in a relationship and it just didn't work out after several years, maybe a couple of months, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm incapable of sustaining a relationship. But there are things that you can begin to do to maximize, like she said, like Rebecca said, invest in yourself, teach yourself something, go to school for something. It doesn't have to be a 4-year college. Take a course, maximize your gifts and your talents, because ultimately we should not be looking for satisfaction or identity in someone else. We should be finding that within us.
Yes.
And then when we come along with someone else, that's when we should say, okay, we're meeting each other. So I
Yes.
love that. I love that you were just like, you know what? I'm gonna start my business, and I'm proving to myself that I can do this, and I need no one. With 2 daughters. Now,
Yes.
do your daughters ever say like, "Mom, when are you gonna get in a relationship?" Like, do they ever push you or
Yes.
anything?
At first they were like, no, we don't want you with no one. and then they were like, well, can you wait until we leave the house?
Mm,
Yeah, lately they have for the last couple years they have been asking.
probably because they're getting older. They're like, "What's mom gonna do?"
Right, when we leave. You
Right.
gonna buy cats, or is she gonna?
You're gonna be the cat lady. That's hilarious. So, what have you learned about yourself in your years of singleness?
Ooh, in the process, I've learned that I became more aware, like self-aware of my strength, my boundaries, my weaknesses. and my values. You also learn your true identity, as you said earlier. You learn your wants and your don'ts, and what you can and won't tolerate.
Right.
Um, Moving forward, whenever you do meet someone, um, you'll kind of identify what lifestyle you want, your friendships, even in your friendships, also that everything kind of just changes. Um,
Right.
uh,
Oh,
it and that teaches the time, it teaches you what we're capable of, and it teaches how to regulate our emotions, because I'm sure at first, everybody has their down, and then they're kind of, going up and down, and sometimes that's why it's good to take that break. It's not good to jump right back in either, because everyone
right.
needs that break, because then if you don't take the time to heal, you're going to pour on into the next person anyways, and
Right.
why jump so quickly anyhow? We shouldn't
Right.
anything.
I agree with that. So was there anything like any healing that you needed to go through? Obviously, I mean, going through a divorce, I'm sure was, detrimental. Like it was something that that challenged you as a
Yes.
person, as a woman. So was there any specific healing that you began to implement in your life to get you to where you are now?
Yes, I definitely took time to heal. I actually feel like I could have taken more, because also, if for ladies out there, there's also, if you're not careful, and if you don't use discernment or discipline, you could also be exposed to people that are looking for people that are fresh out, or
Mm,
that are kind of paying attention to a woman that's vulnerable, or in a season of, oh, maybe they need someone to step in, and you could actually put yourself in a bind, really, if you're not careful. It could go both ways, but definitely I feel like it is very healthy, for people to take time and heal, and learn yourself, navigate those emotions, and just do things that maybe you feel like you couldn't do before, because of your time,
right.
or your schedule, because of the rotating life that you had at one point.
Right. So how was the adjustment from being a wife to then becoming just a single mom? And I'm not saying just a single mom, like if
Right.
it's a
Right.
like belittlement, but just the transition. How did you navigate that?
um at first it was a little confusing, but it 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 was very different for me. And but I kind of just, I feel like I traveled that real well. I just kind of took down this and picked up this, and kind of
Right.
kept
You were
going.
just like, I
um
gotta do what I gotta do and keep it
yeah,
moving.
I piled on a little more work because I was able to, but also I just should have taken the time as well. But yeah.
I hear you on that one. Wow. So, okay. So, what advice can you give to our listeners who are single, who've been single for years, and maybe are believing lies about themselves and, maybe have no hope? What can you tell our listeners today?
Well, throwing in a little sprinkle there, I would say don't rush. Don't rush to get to the next chapter. Most of us do. We all want our person, but own this chapter. Use it to discover you. Build the life you want. Build the life you love, and find your passions, and do that. And someone or whoever will find you, or vice versa, will join in that. Um, that's what I would say. Definitely don't rush it. Anything rushed is not great. Um, so yeah, just take your time, and don't focus on finding someone. It'll happen. It'll just come naturally. If you force it, I don't believe it's a good thing.
Right. I agree. I agree. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Thank you so much for sharing your story and how you have implemented just greatness in your life despite of your title, despite of who you're with or who you're not with. It's amazing to see that, for single moms it can be hard sometimes.
Yes, I
A
agree.
lot of the times it can be single, and I'm sure maybe your husband or your ex-husband has some type of participation in your daughter's lives, but
Yes.
most of the weight falls on us, unfortunately. And sometimes it's stressful, but you are glowing, you're beautiful, you have a business, and you got it going on drinking your matcha tea.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it. I need our listeners to hear and understand this. Singleness is not a plague, it's not a curse. It is actually a moment of blessing for you to find
Yes.
who you truly are. So I want our listeners to understand that. Thank you so much, Rebecca. How can our if anybody's listening and they're like, "Ooh, I like her. She's cute." How can they find you?
I am Becca La Diva on Instagram. I'm also Florida Executive Maintenance. That is the business. So follow us on Instagram, and DB Boutique for all your natural soaps, handmade, organic.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rebecca. You have a good day, okay? Thank you for
Oh,
coming on.
bye.
Well, there you have it. That was a short but sweet episode with Rebecca. And let me tell you, though it was short, she had some major statements in there. She stated, invest in yourself. What are the things that you can do in your life that you can begin to maximize your potential, maximize your spirituality, your mental health, your self development? Are you investing in yourself? You see, singleness, once again, is not a curse, it is a blessing. It's a time for you to begin to pour self love on you. Do you love you? Because it's amazing to feel the love of someone else. But when you begin to pour love into yourself, you begin to realize that the love that you desired from everyone else, you actually have in you first. And that is beautiful because the love that you cultivate within yourself will begin to pour out onto others. If you don't love yourself, guess what? You're going to allow people to treat you the way that they want to treat you. And you're going to put up with things that you shouldn't put up with because you don't love yourself enough to say no. Self love should be your number one goal. If you are single, if you are married, it doesn't even matter your relationship status. It doesn't matter your title. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account. If you don't love yourself, honey, every other relationship will fail. You will be looking for something outside of you that you had all along from the very beginning, since you've been put here on earth, and that is love. We just need to learn what it looks like. And we learn that when we learn ourselves, when we give ourselves grace, when we forgive ourselves, when we have patience with ourselves, when we begin to, cultivate those things within us that are longing to come out. So if you are single and if you're married, it doesn't matter. Self love. And if you're single, then listen, stop looking outside and start looking within. Because once you begin to look within and you begin to cultivate and you begin to remove all these things that are not based on love, you will begin to awaken to a new reality. And then you will begin to align with the right people and the right connections. Because when you love yourself, it gives off an energy and a frequency that you are moving in the place of love. And the people around you will want to see that and they will want to give you that same type of love that you love yourself with. They want to experience that love with you. You begin to attract good people around you because you love yourself. So, once again, I am your coach and your host,